Here's how you dress for nuclear fallout. Nuclear fallout has 3 kinds of rays: alpha, beta, and gamma. The alpha rays are virtually harmless. The gamma rays can give you cancer, but only if you're exposed to them for a few hours. Beta rays, on the other hand, if you're exposed to them, you will get a 2nd-degree burn, so you need to cover every part of your body. Beta rays cannot penetrate thick fabric. They can't penetrate aluminum. They can't penetrate plastic. So you dress like this, with a thick parka and with the aluminum around your head and your neck and with the goggles over your eyes. And every bit of this is inexpensive. A pair of ski goggles like these are 40 years old. I didn't have to pay anything for these recently. And the tinfoil. This is cheap. And this old parka, I've had this for several years. See how easy it is? All this has to do with a new book that I've published, my 8th book. It's called The Disaster Handbook. This book tells how to prepare for a disaster in advance, how to be safe during the disaster, and how to repair everything afterward. Here, the delight of defeating a disaster awaits you. With this book close by, no longer will you cower under the threat of impending misfortune, for these pages will empower you with a kind of confidence and knowledge that will lead you to manage your experiences better, suffer less, and spend less money, no matter how, when, or where a disaster may lay you low. Whether you are at home, at work, visiting a public building, overnighting in a hotel, or driving somewhere, this reference could not only save your life, but the lives of your loved ones, business colleagues, friends, even strangers whose fate is suddenly woven with yours. This primer does the following. It describes the tools, foods, and other calamity commodities you will need when nature gets wrathful. This book recognizes that the parts of your home or workplace that will serve as shelter must be nearly indestructible. For what sense is it to have everything you would need in a disaster if where you would store and use it is destroyed? The author, a 50-year veteran of architecture and writer of 5 books on architectural engineering for one of the world's largest publishers, is eminently qualified to write about this vital aspect of disaster preparedness. This book asserts that the biggest danger of a disaster isn't the damage it does so much as it prevents you from performing those simple, everyday, taken for granted tasks that keep you alive. Hence, the heart of this book describes how to cook your food, bathe, wash your dishes, clean your clothes, go to the bathroom, and keep everything sanitary, all when you have no water and no power. When misfortune knocks you ajar, these are the links that forge a chain of survival. Equally important is what this book says you don't need in a disaster. You don't need to know wilderness survival skills. You don't need a generator. You don't need weapons, all kinds of weapons. You don't need to know any hand-to-hand combat. When facing the challenges of disaster, far more citizens realize the need for teamwork and friendship and try to help each other and would rather be known as Samaritans, not survivalists. To overcome a disaster, you also don't need the attributes of youth and strength. During 2 major disasters, Snowstorm Alfred in late October 2011 and Hurricane Sandy in late October 2012, the author performed nearly every task you'll read about in these pages when he was past the age of 70. Absent youth and strength, he exercised a kind of creativity and cleverness that everyone has, regardless of age, strength, or gender. Among dozens of other features, this reference also describes the following: how to bring your family together if they are apart when a disaster happens, detailed descriptions of respirators, a vital subject the public knows little about, how to build a sandbag dike, how to prepare for an evacuation, what to do if rescued by a helicopter, what's it like living in a public shelter, how to bury the dead, how to repair your house, car, and property afterward. This volume, the Disaster Handbook, also shows how you can make yourself comfortable when roughing it in the rubble with such commonplace items as duct tape, tinfoil. These things are so versatile, you can do dozens of things with them, and I describe how to do them in my book. Cheesecloth. Get a lot out of this. There's a whole bunch of things that I mentioned that you can use this for in my book. Plastic sheeting. Get you a big piece, 20 by 50 feet. Plastic buckets. I've got 10 of these in the garage that I just found at the end of people's driveways on trash pickup day. And a roll of electric wiring. This is the unsung hero of disaster preparedness. This is a box of 25 feet of electric wire, the kind of wiring your electrician puts in your walls between your electrical outlets and your switches and your light fixtures. It is extremely useful. Not only will it conduct electricity, of course, you can run this from, let us say, your automobile battery to a light inside the house if you need it or anywhere else. But this wire is so strong, it's like a cable. If you have a large branch on your driveway, you can tie one of this around the branch and the other arm around part of your car and pull the branch off your driveway. Not only that, but each one of these individual wires is useful. You can snip these things, you can bend them in any way that you want. And I describe all kinds of ways which you can use this in the Disaster Handbook. The Disaster Handbook also describes some inventions of the author you won't find elsewhere. It describes the tinfoil candle reflector. Here we have a candle with a reflector just made out of tinfoil. This makes the light in front of the candle 4 or 5 times brighter. And as the candle burns down, you slide the reflector down. What could be simpler and more useful for virtually no money at all? A t-shirt sling. You can make a sling out of this as follows. Let's say I've hurt my arm. Oh, I've hurt my arm. I've got to go to the hospital. You put your arm in, one arm into the t-shirt like this. Then you put your neck in like this. Then you get it all squared away. Kind of helps have somebody else helping you here. But then you get it all squared away. You pull the bottom of the t-shirt over your elbow, and there you are. Now that is actually comfortable. And you don't have to pay any extra money for this if you got a t-shirt laying around. Another item, another invention, the bottle cap fish scaler. Think of how much money you might have to spend to make one of those. Martha Stewart would do well to have one of those. Then there's a tin can stove. You just take a tin can, take a church key, make some holes at the bottom so the air can go in, make some holes at the top so the air can go out, put your little can of stern old fuel inside of there. You got something you can warm your fingers with, or make some tea or some soup. There's a couple other inventions made by other people recently. One is the Life Straw water filter. With this thing, you can actually drink. You can go find a puddle of water outside. You can take water from a bird bath, and you can use this to drink, like this. Look at this. Look how filthy that water is. Now watch this. Tastes like mountain spring water. And another one is the puck light. This is going to replace those old candle-like road flares. You know, those red thing looks like a red candle. This is going to replace these. This is very bright. It lasts much longer. It lasts 5 hours compared to 10 or 15 minutes for the normal flare. This is magnetic. You can put it on the side of your car. It floats. This is an amazing device. And you can throw it anywhere. In conclusion, the Disaster Handbook is a 9-ounce volume that is designed to be smaller and thinner than a folded shirt. So you can toss it in a suitcase or carry-on, slip it under a car seat, or set it in an office desk where it will be close when you need it most. Finally, the most dangerous disaster of all isn't one you would live through. It's one that you would say in advance, this couldn't happen to me. Here is your chance to avert this danger with the Disaster Handbook, which you can buy at Amazon.com for only $11.95. Thank you, and may nature be kind to you in her harsher moments.